guitar for any time at all, you've probably heard of this pattern called Travis picking. It's the most commonly asked about pattern in my studio. And there's a great tune called 9-Pound Hammer I love to show folks. It goes something like this. There's a whole mess of you out there who are like, oh, he's playing a tune by Merle Travis. He's Travis picking. I get it. I'm not. That wasn't Travis picking. I mean, it was the way he played. It was the way Merle Travis finger picked on guitar. But it's not what you're going to find when you search up Travis picking. That's a totally different technique. You don't believe me? Just watch the man himself.
9-pound hammer, just a little too heavy for my size. For my size.
If you have a keen eye, you'll probably notice that the chord shapes he used are definitely a little more demanding than the ones I was just using, which I'd love to get to in another video, talk about the chord shapes of Merle Travis. But for today, I want to shine a light on this thing called Travis picking. Because to me, there's kind of like three issues about the way folks are learning how to play fingerstyle guitar, that especially when they're calling it Travis picking. One of them is that people don't really know who Merle Travis even is. Also, for two, maybe learning like your first technique for fingerstyle guitar from a master, trying to mimic a master, that might not be like the best first approach. That might be why things feel hard. And then for three, like in the case of Merle Travis, and the way he played guitar, the way people are learning it's wrong. It's not the way he played. But there's good news. What he actually did, it's like 10 times easier than what people have coined Travis picking. He didn't just use it in 9-pound hammer. He used this all over. So we're going to talk about that today. The basic building blocks of what Merle Travis actually did, how to use it in your own playing, not just in Merle Travis's music, and the man himself, Merle Travis. So Merle Travis was basically one of those like young guitar prodigies. He got his first big break at the age of 18 performing Tiger Rag. I didn't find any videos of him playing Tiger Rag, but it was just one of the jazz standards of the day, an incredibly challenging tune.
The good old swing numbers. The Tiger Rag, the Tiger Rag. Look out there. 1, 2.
And it's crazy what like one hit can do, because now folks from all over are clamoring to get this guy Merle Travis in their band. And Clayton McMission, now that might not be a name you know, but if you're into like 1920s string band stuff, he was in the group The Skillet Lickers, which was a huge string band of the day. The group disbanded at some point. They all had their own solo careers, most notably Low Stokes converging jazz and old time music, as well as Riley Puckett, one of the early pioneers of country music. And Clayton McMission, along with Merle Travis, they started the Georgia Wildcats. He has a really interesting story, and it's worth checking out in your own time, but eventually he landed a job as like a radio performer and then got into television, which is how the world knows Merle Travis as like the virtuoso solo guitar
Roll
player.
back, pull load of coal. Now how can I pull when the wheels won't roll?
When the wheels won't roll.
Now if you're paying close attention, like his right hand style is really simple. It's the left hand that's doing all the complexities and what you're hearing. I just really want to drive that home. Like his right hand is simple, simple, simple. And I think because of that, we like overcomplicate things when we're teaching people. You can't teach them those chord shapes in the first week, right? Or the first year even. But we could teach them some kind of fluttery fingerstyle pattern and that sounds interesting and full, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but you're kind of tricking yourself or your students into thinking you sound like Merle Travis when you don't, right? And the beginner doesn't usually care. I mean, we all remember what it's like to like learn our first riff and think we sounded exactly like the band. But what happens is years down the road, you start to question everything you learned. You get a little better and you get a more sensitive ear and you're like, wait a second, that's not how Merle Travis played. And so it's giving people the right building blocks so that later as they develop, they can go back, fine tune, and become a better musician. So the pattern you're gonna find online, you're finding books that people mostly learn, it goes like this. So you got your thumb and your middle finger on the outside strings and you pinch. Then you take your thumb and you move it to the D string, you pluck that, and then you pluck your first finger on the B string. So that'll sound like this. Second half of the pattern, your thumb goes back to the low E, and your second finger goes to the first string. But now it's not a pinch, they're alternating. So you got this. And then to close it off, you just grab your thumb on the D string. That's a lot to remember, right? But there's this little funny saying that goes along with it. You got pinch, inside, outside, thumb. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's a lot more demanding than what Merle Travis is actually doing. And I think for the very beginner, it's a lot to figure out, right? There's an easier way, and you're actually going to be closer to the sound of Merle Travis, if that matters. Now, if you check out Merle Travis's style, he actually braced his right hand, and he only used these two fingers, his thumb and his first finger. You don't have to do that. You don't have to brace your hand, but it is kind of a nice way to start out playing guitar, to have a little bit of a reference point. Don't like push in so you're having a lot of tension, but at least you have a reference point and you feel a little more stable. I think that's the problem a lot of folks have when they're learning fingerstyle guitars. They don't feel very stable just floating. As far as what Merle actually did compared to what I was showing you with that pattern, I think there's only like one similarity, and it's this moving thumb. So if you grab that G chord, you move your thumb from the 6th to the 4th string, and then you just add this little thing with your finger. If we slow that down, it starts with a pinch, and then 2, open 2, gets there before your thumb gets to the 4th string. So they'll go like this. And then your first finger goes back to the 1st string and gets there just before your thumb gets back to the moving bass on the 6th string. The only thing I would add in the case of this tune is this. It's a little walk up. That's what we call a walk up. Now, I don't like patterns. I don't like thinking in patterns. I don't think in patterns. So I don't always like to teach in patterns, but I do understand how little sayings, little mnemonics can be helpful. So I did come up with one, and it's really good. It's way better than pinch inside, outside thumb. I'll tell you that much. You ready? Here we go. This is Travis picking, so there. Ha, ha. That'll get you there. You're not gonna forget that. All right, as always, the tab is on the Patreon along with the slow play along. You can get it there. You can get a whole bunch of stuff over there that's relating to fingerstyle guitar. So, hey, if you want me to do a video on the chord shapes of Merle Travis, you gotta let me know in the comments so I know it's worth making. So, because he does some crazy stuff with his left hand. I'm telling you. All right, thanks for stopping by. Send this to a friend, and we will see you soon, won't we? Take care.